Hi, everyone. Welcome to Appliance Advisors. I'm Francesco, joined by my co-host, Dennis. Today, we're going to talk about the top mistakes to avoid when buying a refrigerator. So a few things I think that customers either you see online or you really get hung up on, or some different things. We're going to try to help clarify that a little bit. And one of the first things I want to talk about is just only looking at the cubic footage and thinking that you need to get the fridge that is the absolute most cubic footage. Because in general, I will tell you, those are an inexact science. How that stuff's even measured, no one really knows. The most important thing I would say is look at the shelving and look at the layout of the fridge. See what types of things you store. Do you need gallon storage in the door? Do you like a lot of adjustable shelves in the refrigerator that you hold maybe taller bottles that like one of those half shelves that kind of goes in and out would be nice for you? The deli drawers inside the refrigerator. There's so many ways that these refrigerators are constructed now with different shelving and drawers on the interior. That is way more important than what the overall cubic footage is. It's a nice marketing thing to say, oh, this is a whatever cubic footage fridge, but it's got to work for you and it's got to work for the things that you put in there most consistently on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we want to think about door clearances. I mean, we'll talk about that as the number one reason why something gets returned isn't that it couldn't technically fit within the whole of the cabinet space, but that's kind of where the thinking stopped. Like, yes, it's 72 by 36, it'll fit. The problem people don't think of is the door thickness. Even if it's a counter depth refrigerator, how thick is that door? The trend for refrigerators to meet people chasing cubic footage is bigger and bigger bins on the doors. Think about it. You can fit gallons. You never could have fit gallons. You can fit multiple gallons, 4 gallons in some cases. So bigger door bins, which really, and ice and water, a lot of times people are putting it up top. That takes up space in a door. So these doors have gotten much thicker. So even though the body could be flush, what is it going to hit? And I'm going to tell you, you got to think of everything. If you're doing a new kitchen, you got to think about how far the sides of the cabinet with how far the counters are going to stick out if it's butted right up against them, because your refrigerator might go to 98 degrees or 110 degrees, but not be able to open the full width. It might hit and dent the stainless. There's all these things to think about. And it's not a terribly hard thing, but you really want to think about clearances. Your island, have you thought about how that's going to pass? Your handles, would a handle actually bump a cabinet drawer while it's open? So there are variables, and really, once you fall in love with something, now really make sure that it'll fit beyond just physically when it's open.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it too. My next thing is just automatically thinking that you need an external ice and water dispenser.
No, you do not.
Ice and water in the door. There's so many other options. And listen, for some people, absolutely very convenient. You might use it 50 times a day. You want to have it. You need it. No problem. And they have that. But for a lot of people, I think there's other alternatives that probably can be better. So like you said, when you put that ice and water in the door, opening the inside, you are losing all that storage space for the most part in the door. So you lose a lot of that internal space. They now have an internal water dispenser that's very small that goes right on the side that really takes up almost no space. You got to open the door to get there, of course, but you're getting that much more usable space in the refrigerator, and you're still having ice in the bottom drawer. Other things for really inexpensive, there's point of use water filters as well, that you could just have purely filtered water every time you're using cold water in your main faucet. And if you're doing a lot of water, that's much faster and really more convenient anyway than an external water filter. An external water dispenser would be regardless, especially if you're filling up large bottles, anything like that. It's going to be way faster as well.
Yeah, not to beat a dead horse, you've covered a lot of it, but really to stick on this, because the ice maker is like the thing everyone wants. And if you're watching this, 99% of you probably have one at home right now that's broken. They break. It's a lot of hard ice trying to drop down a chute for a warm refrigerator with a small cold, there's a lot of mechanics going into that. So there's a lot that can and does go wrong.
Yeah.
So you've spent the money, you've lost the space, and you don't have it down. And additionally, you talked on the point of use, which we love, but yes, much better flow, more economical. The filters cost one fraction. You get 25 times the volume and much better filtration.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm big on that. Other than that, again, we talked in other policies. One thing to consider again is just, I said it before, handles. Do you need them, period? maybe a handleless refrigerator with a pocket handle is something really to consider.
Absolutely. And just in general too, I'd add, think about the food that you store the most. Certainly French door refrigerators are the most common, 2 doors up front, 1 big freezer drawer, but there's different styles now too. There's 4 doors, just 4 completely separate doors. There's 4 doors with a drawer side by side, which has kind of started to fade out a little bit too. But think about just what you store. Is it more fresh food? Is it a lot of delis and cheeses and things like that? Thinking about that sort of thing is really important as well. So hopefully there's a few tips and hopefully helps you to avoid a few mistakes when choosing your next refrigerator.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for appliance tips and updates from Yale Appliance.
Your feedback is what shapes our series. Like what you saw? Give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Stay informed and inspired on all your appliance needs. This is Appliance Advisors signing off.